So dropping in tonight, I didn't have any downloads initially, and the energy just felt weird. It really just felt sort of like it was in this space of metamorphosis and steadily shifting, highly mutable energy. And I don't know, I wasn't feeling really inspired in any particular way to work with the cards. And actually what came through is I feel like playing a little spirit Scrabble. And I just wanted to bring out the letter dice and get some messages and see what came on through. And then I thought, well, I'll go ahead and I'll prepare a tarot deck because I know that something's going to come through once I get some letters on the board. It's also a little distracting here in the States with the celebrations going on right now for Independence Day, which is kind of interesting. Interesting with what came on through here because I was preparing the deck and I have a very specific way that I prepare the decks before I use them in a reading that I record for you all. And what I do is I season the deck, I clear out the old energy from previous readings, and then I give it a real good shuffle while I'm concentrating on the collective energy. And then I cut the deck in 3 piles and reintegrate it. And I do that 3 separate times. And each time that I reintegrate that pile for those 3 separate cuts and shuffles and, bringing them back together again, I always look at the bottom of the deck energy because it usually tells me a story of what's wanting to come through. And I was shocked by the line that came out because it was all majors. All majors. And I'm going to show it to you, okay? First, what came out was the Lovers here, right? And then what followed was the Magician. And then after the Magician, the High Priestess. And after that, Death. And I was like, whoo, dang, that is some strong energy, real strong energy. Heavy Gemini energy, heavy Scorpio energy. And I was just like, this is something here, man. What is this? This is something. And I really wanted to understand because I knew that what was going on is something was in a state of transformation, like currently, right now, as we speak. And that there's something about this that involves a shift in direction. And the shift in direction is related to seeking knowledge. Seeking knowledge moves one out of a state of inertia. And what is coming to an end is like some kind of holding pattern. So I was like, well, what was behind death? Because I was really curious, I wanted to tug on that thread. And so I looked at the card that was behind death and what is in this state of transformation. This. Feeling like you have been held in place here. Feeling like you had no free range to move, to explore. Feeling stuck in a certain perspective, mindset. It could even be feeling bound to the land itself where you currently are. There's something here that is felt restricted. And so I saw, oh, I get it. Okay, there is this like freedom from a restriction coming in here. It's currently going through a transformational process, and it involves seeking some kind of knowledge to become suddenly self-aware. And where is this self-knowledge to be sought? On the mountain. This imagery has been coming in quite a bit recently. And when that mountain piece came in, it was interesting because something that did come through for me was the plant medicine arnica. And arnica is known as mountain daisy. And then it made me think of it also being known as wolfsbane. And when I thought of wolf medicine, it of course made me think of the Pathfinder. So the knowledge that one seeks, the self-knowledge that empowers, that makes one aware. And so they free themselves, right, from this holding pattern, this prison of the mind, which you can also look at with the high priestess here. It's like the secret knowledge rises like sap from the roots, and it's seen clearly. The fruit of promise on the tree, the pomegranate, which is the fruit that Lilith feasted on by the Euphrates, becomes actualized in an act of wielding the power, wielding the power that creates freedom in the mind from something that was very much an 8th house influence, something that was working subterraneanly. Something subterraneanly is brought to the surface. Death returns on the scene. Look at death. Death has a pathway up the mountain. It leads to the rising sun, and there is a gateway of initiation. Do you see the sun rising? The gateway of initiation there is the same gateway that's featured on the moon card in tarot. So there's something that has been concealed that is about to be revealed. Something that was cloaked, something that was hidden is going to be seen. And this is what allows one to free themselves from the prison of the mind, from where they have felt firmly entrenched, held in place, or some could say bound. And this provides liberation. The path up the mountain is found. There's no need to seek the liberation from an outside source, represented by this Hierophant character here, that actually is the one seeking some kind of mercy from this transformation that's happening, because it's the falling away of an old power structure. And what does it bring after that? I was so curious. Like, I had to keep pulling and I couldn't help it because I was getting really like caught up in this energy. I was getting really caught up in this energy. And what I found that followed it, what follows this 8 of Swords energy, is an Ace of Pentacles, the Stargate. And I was like, mind blown. There it is. It manifests on the mountain. This is a message that has been coming in. It's the continuation of the download. I knew more would come in, but now I understand it through a whole different perspective. I came to understand it through entering the Stargate, which I'll explain momentarily. So once I saw this, and I was like, oh, wow, look at this. Now we're getting interesting here. This is piquing my interest. Now this is a thread I really want to tug on here. I want to explore this. And I thought, you know what? I always like sort of share the download after the effect. After the effect has landed on me and left its imprint on my consciousness, but I don't often do it like in real time with you all. And I thought, no, I think there's something about this that wants to come through here. There's something about this process that wants to be shared with you all. So I'm sharing it with you all, okay? Because it's just what the force is compelling me to do. I'm getting out of my head. Well, this isn't the way I normally do it. It doesn't matter. It's like the force is compelling me to share this with you. Okay, so I'm sharing it with you. So I said, all right, I got to see what's on the top of the deck here. Because the top of the deck shows what this is leading to, since this was the last thing on the bottom of the deck after following behind death. We know with death here, there's a transformation, but, you know, the wheel keeps turning. So it's the ending of one thing, but it's the beginning of another. And how one thing ends is how the next begins. This came through with the mutable sign, but also how something begins is also how it ends. It's all the same trip, man. It's that great infinity loop, okay, the connecting point, the 8 energy coming in. The 8 energy can tie you in a knot, or it can be an infinity loop. It usually gets bound up, and our manifestations don't come through because we get too much in the head and we forget the feeling. And what's the feeling that's being sought here? The feeling that's being sought here is that sense of awe. It's the sense of inspiration. It's the muse whispering in our ear that says, go ahead, step up to the edge, take the leap. The Fool was at the top of the deck. And I was like, all right, come on through. What am I looking at here? Of course, here we got, you know, this Aries energy, Aquarian energy coming in with the Fool. And suddenly I understood. I was looking at all these star archetypes that are on the board here. We got Gemini very strongly. We have Scorpio coming in strongly because the High Priestess is the waterway, representing foremost Cancer, which at this time is quite significant because we had Jupiter move out of Gemini and it moved into Cancer where it's exalted. So this is also the exaltation of the High Priestess energy. It's when Persephone rises and core is manifest on the earth, all things grow, all things come to fruition. We reap what we have sown. The harvest is yet to come, okay? The harvest is yet to come. But in order to be able to bring core to fruition, there has to be freedom from the restriction, freedom from the unconscious limitations made conscious, the shadow being brought up into the light of day, which provides the seed of what? The seed of the fruit of knowledge from which all things grow. And this provides liberation. This provides liberation from the crossroads. It's what opens the road. And the angel that's the guardian of the gate of the dawn shows the way to that stargate, the stargate that is the sun. It's up through the mountain. I looked at all these energies. I looked at all these energies and I realized what was communicating here was Uranus. Uranus kept communicating through this because I was going about doing things in a very unconventional way, a way I don't normally do things. Uranus. Aquarius's ruler. Uranus. And the start of the new cycle as represented by the energy of Aries, the initiatory energy, the initiation of the new cycle, the initiation into the dawning of that new age of Aquarius, represented by traveling through the mysteries of the moon. The truth keeper of the moon, remember, is coming to me, the shield maiden of Mars. That came in on the download the other night. And so the Uranus transit is what really got highlighted for me. And this is fascinating because the Uranus transit that we're moving through right now initially started back in September of 2018 in the sign of Taurus, but it's preparing to go into Gemini on the 7th here. This is just around the corner. And this has bearing with this imagery of the Hierophant there that is really making me consider Taurus. That's the representation of Taurus in the major arcana. And as I considered this, it's like Taurus archetype energy here, wanting to prevent the disruption of what is coming unraveled here. And Taurus classically is a sign that's not the most hospitable to change. They are ones who enjoy creature comforts. They enjoy that stability. Their house is the house of everything that we see on the material plane, is being the source of stability, of the architecture of our reality, where our finances are at, what we value. And when we have Uranus in Taurus, there's shifting of financial fortunes. Stock market is, something that can shift from one moment to the next, and things that we've invested in and things that we've built come toppling down. And there also can be unexpected growth in directions we normally wouldn't anticipate. But as this happens, it also shifts our value matrix as well. And we start to understand what's truly worth investing in. We start to get a different view about what we value, what truly is worthwhile of our time, our energy, what we want to cultivate. There's also more of a focus on individuation. It's more about what you create for yourself, or how you identify yourself and your place in the world. What's of personal value to you, your personal core values, rather than considering collective energy so much. And yet there's a lot of disruption that comes with Uranus and Taurus, which, as we brought in, Taurus, the bull, is not comfortable with, and will tend to dig in the heels. And this creates further need for even greater disruption. And in tandem with all of this comes in the search for truth, the search for truth, the search for truth, the search for self-knowledge, okay, that supports this individuation process. And that's why we're going to be experiencing this transit where Taurus gives over Uranus and gets a little bit of reprieve there, sort of get steady here, get hunkered down, get a new sense of grounding before further, further shakeup, you could say, by giving it over to Gemini. And Gemini, when we have Uranus in Gemini, it's a very different energy, okay? This is when we have free range exploration of ideas, perspectives, possibilities. This is when we really do want to have liberation from the confines of our mind by, getting out there and finding out, just exploring different views and exploring different pathways and exploring through the realm of communication. And there's a lot of communication innovation. Yeah, certainly within the realm of tech. But beyond that, just the ways that we communicate with others and the ways we receive what they're sharing with us, and our ability to translate it, and also our ability to get our perspective across. So there's a lot happening. There's a lot of buzz in the communication sector. There's also wanting the unusual, craving the unusual, seeking out the eccentric, and hungering for that, because what provides like a totally different view, and having the determination to go out and find it, and understanding, yeah, it's totally unfamiliar territory. I don't know what to expect when I head down this path. But like the great bard, I'm traveling light, and I got a spirit of optimism here and enthusiasm, because there's an adventure underway as I find my way up the mountain. And yes, there may be treacherous paths, and there may be times the path is narrow, but the path calls nonetheless, despite the cautions, because it's not the yapping of dogs that calls the feet forward, but it's the cry of the wolf for the moon. See, the moon is bringing about the initiation by heading into the unknown territory, by trusting that the illumination will be provided by an inner source of light. It's not something that comes from knowing the lay of the land in the typical sense. This is grokked in quite a different way. Now, there is a point, okay, when that brief excursion, that brief retrograde into the Gemini territory will give over on November 8th, and it will return into Taurus. But at that time, that's really harmonizing with this trine we got going down that brings out the very best aspect of Jupiter in Cancer. And so this is when the knowledge is brought back from that exploration, okay? And a choice is able to be made because there's now true self-knowledge that's been gained during the time of the retrograde review energy with Uranus and Gemini. And that also seeds, it acts as a seed, it acts as a stargate for the path ahead, which will be the action that's taken. Okay, this is how the end is, how it will begin, and how it will begin is how it ends. This is that connecting point, because then we will have Gemini once again taking the helm when it shifts out of Taurus and goes into Gemini. And it goes into Gemini, let me see, did I write down a date for this? April 26th, again, a number 8, okay? April 26th will be when it's wrapped up in Taurus. So 2 8s there. That's the 8-8 Stargate. I kept thinking it was aligning with, you know, what we know as, you know, the modern New Age talk about Lionsgate. I thought it was talking about that. It's not. It's talking about this other Stargate. Maybe we get a hint of this on August 8th, okay? Maybe there's a hint of this Stargate to come that actually arrives on the scene on November 8th, right? November 8th, when we have this energy returning to Taurus, and then it enters into the new cycle on April 26th, breaks down to 8 in 2026. The ending is the beginning, 10, right? 10, and again, 8, 26. It's an 8-year, but also 2 before that, okay? 9, 10, right? The pathway of the priestess, the initiation into the moon's knowledge will be complete. That's when you've passed through the initiatory gateway of the moon, okay? And you have certain truths that you hold. You become a truth keeper of the moon, and you make it through that initiatory gateway into the house of the rising sun. The house of the rising sun, which is the shield maiden to Mars energy. Really wild energy that came through here with this. Really wild energy that came through here with this. This is letting me know that we're about to experience something quite different than what we've been familiar with here. And the energy is like this, okay? It's like spirit Scrabble. And every little piece has so much meaning to how the whole picture comes into the mainframe here. And I think this is something that we need to understand, that things that seem insignificant or small or just a little detail actually are just like seeds of so much illumination, knowledge, potential activation. It reminds me of bija seed sounds and mantras. these seed sounds, they hold all the wisdom of the Vedas, and it's that kind of energy, just like that Torah there that the high priestess holds, these scrolls of ancient knowledge, just awakening. This is the energy that's coming through here, and it's really the knowledge that's needed to provide the illumination necessary of what has to go through this transformational process to even bring about that dawn, to not waste the dawn. So I kind of just want to get some messages in relation to this with a little spirit scrabble and just see what comes on through. And then if something else is desiring to be pulled, I imagine I'll hit this deck again, okay? Because I got it mixed up again. I did some more cuts of it, and then I didn't look, so I don't know what's on the bottom of the deck now. So maybe we will look at that, okay? Might dive into a little bit more tarot, but I just really wanted to bring this in. I know it's like totally freestyle. It's not what I normally do, but there's something about this. I think there's something about this that's part of the message and that wanted to be communicated. Maybe it's something about this, like just the way you're interacting with people, like just explore different ways of interacting with people and see what kind of magic comes through. You might be surprised what it stirs in others too. It might also have what comes through received quite differently by those who are, you know, sitting across from you. And there might be something that's translated in quite a different way there, okay? Uranus is a very out there energy, man. So I don't know why I felt like really getting my hands like in here in relation to this. So what we want to do, put them in my hands. Okay, I'll put them in my hands. One escaped there, two escaped there. Interesting. U for Uranus came out there. Okay, and then we got E. E came out, but E was in reverse. Oh, and that's funny. And I turned it to where was E pointing to? To the B. B. B-U. B. B. B-U. That's what Uranus is all about. Uranus is like, just be you. Just be you. Okay? Be you. I think this is something maybe that's really asking to come forward more in the collective right now. Just be you. I feel like there's a lot of parts of people that are starting to want to be expressed that maybe have been repressed for a long time or held back. Okay, what fell away there? S. S in reverse. And it's making me think of that serpent there. Yeah, it's like the serpent's been sleeping. The serpent needs to rise, okay? The serpent needs to rise. Be you. Well, you can't really be you until you figure out who that is. Do you know? Who are you? Do you know? Do you really know? It's a good question. In fact, it's not only a good question, it's a quest. And really, that's what a quest is when we look at it, you know, at the end of the day. The quest is always inspired by some acquisition of knowledge. And there's something here where you're seeking knowledge of self. You're seeking knowledge of self. Who are you? Who are you? Who you are today is not who you were. In fact, you're currently becoming. And right now, you're very much in this in-between space. you're not where you've been, okay, but you're also not where you're going to be. And so there's something that needs to be resolved first before you know your next step here. And I feel like this is the mountain. The mountain is the step. One step up the mountain can be a great feat when you've been hanging out in the valley. Right? And there is something here that is on the wane. And what's on the wane here is daylight. And that's fact. It actually is a fact. The daylight is on the wane because we passed Letha, we passed summer solstice. So more and more, daylight is on the wane. And so this is when we're going to start to be guided more by night. The night has secrets to spill. The night is a place of fertile opportunity. There's something to explore at night. Wisdom the night has to teach you. Have you ever gone on a night hike? Like a treacherous night hike? I went on a treacherous night hike once out at Ocean Cove. You never been to Ocean Cove and you ever find yourself on the West Coast, you're in California, I encourage you to go check out Ocean Cove. It's right next to Timber Cove. Got great camping up there. The Ocean Cove campsite is amazing and magical. There's a whole bunch of ley lines there, and you can see every star in the sky at night. And when the moon is real close to the earth, and we got that supermoon action going on, it feels like the moon is landing there, right on the campsite. It's massive. It's unlike anything you'll ever see. The coastline there is rugged and ancient, and at night the moon lights up the cliffside, and you see the stone people, you see the faces. There's orbs all over there at night. You can capture them very easily on film. I got old photos on the laptop of all the orb action out at Ocean Cove, and it's just unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Power spot. Yeah, Fae energy coming through. Fairy coming through here. Anyway, camping with some really good friends, and we wanted to go on a night hike out there. And there's this like cliffside night hiking, which, it's dangerous. It's risky. It is. There's stretches of the hike where you are on, like, it's narrow. It's very narrow. You have to be very careful as you're walking, and there's no guardrails, there's no nut, you're on the edge of the cliff. And if it gets, windy enough, which it can, you could fall and it would be the end of you, man. There'd be nothing but the deep sea beneath you. And it can be terrifying at points, honestly, but the path, the path calls, and it's like, I don't know, you find the courage to do it. I don't know how. I think about it, I think about those hikes because I've done it more than once. Man, that's just nuts. It is, it's nuts. It's nuts. It's not safe, but at the same time, those hikes are the most magical hikes. And the sights you see and the experience of it, it's just, there's so much power. There's so much power there. And so this to me feels like there's some path that's opening up here. There's this path opening up here for you. And it's a path of power. And it's a path that compels you to go forward. I got a name coming through here. It's coming through for my broad. I got Vi, okay? I got Vi here. It could be coming through for, somebody else too, but it's really standing out to me, Vi. Yeah, Vi, look. And also it's the Roman numeral 6 coming through here too. Okay, choice, but I did want to mention Vi. This could be coming through for you. This path is something that, it may scare you at times. But this is the path where life truly begins. I feel that. There's something quite unexpected that's developing here, even though it can't be seen right now. And I got this energy of like nil, nil, nada, zit, no. Like there's something about something that feels like a complete no, like my heart's not in this, I don't feel like I got anything out of this. I'm tired, Maybe even making compromises with the self. Like, I don't need anything more. This is fine. This'll do. That'll do. That'll do. That'll do is going to shift to do it. Do it. You're going to feel like something's going to come through. There's something shifting here. It's going to be a momentum of the force within you. Do it. Yeah, it's risky. Yeah, it's scary. Yeah, I don't know what the path's going to look like, because that's the thing with that night hike. Like the terrain changes. It changes because of changes in the land. It's always shifting. And that can be according to the season. That can be according to the weather, and you don't know what you're going to find, but you have to be prepared that, yeah, there is challenge here. There always is in any proper quest. There always is when we're stepping into some kind of empowerment. There's a challenge, but there's something here where once you were very resistant, or you were in that place of no, because of the Uranus transit, moving out of that sort of stubborn fixedness of Taurus into the mutability of Gemini, the daring is found, like, because the call for exploration is going to be too strong. So what was a no will soon be on. It will be on. It will be on like Donkey Kong, okay? It might be a little bit of a breakthrough moment. I had a moment in my life, those who know. I had a moment in my life where I had to break free out of a really like oppressive situation many, many moons ago. Okay. Many, many moons ago. In fact, you know, there was a point in 2018 too that bear a little similarity to this kind of energy, not quite the same level, but back in the close of like 2009, I had a moment like this. I had a moment like this where it was like sheer terror, like how can I do this? Sheer terror. How can I do this? This is too risky. And yet there was this desire for this self-knowledge. Something inside of me was stirring. It's like, no, there's more, and you need to know more. And the moment that was finally like that breakthrough point where I stopped telling myself I can't, or this is too risky, or if I do this, you know, I sacrifice all safety, where I started to recognize that like comfort isn't necessarily all it's cracked up to be. In fact, comfort is the very thing that is keeping you in this place of fear. I mean, people don't look at it that way. Like, there's so much anxiety, right? There's so much anxiety in the world. And why is there so much anxiety? There's so much anxiety because of this. Staying in the comfort of not taking the action to find out, to go find out. That's what Uranus and Gemini asks you to do. Go find out. Is there something to be afraid of? Will it be your undoing? Is it all going to go to shit? Go find out. Go find out. Because as long as you stay here wondering if you get stuck in the cell of if, well, you just threw away your key. You threw away your key. You gave your key to an outside authority. But that outside authority is losing its grip here. You got to go find out. Anyway, I had one of those moments where don't became do it. And at that moment, I remember it was like a power surge running through me. I will never forget it. I will never forget it. I felt just this power surge run through me. I was sitting at the table. I was eating a grilled cheese sandwich with a bowl of roasted red pepper tomato soup. I remember it clearly. And it was like a flash of illumination that came in through me, like a bolt of lightning running through me. And all of a sudden, I just felt that medicine of the snake awaken in me, the transformational energy of the snake. And I felt the realization. And I remember I struck my fist down on the table like that soup went flying. And I called out, deceiver. It's like I saw in that moment just the deception, this deception, a place that I had held myself in my mind. And suddenly the deception became very conscious. And I said, it's on like Donkey Kong. And boy, was it ever. And I feel like this is such a moment that's brewing for the collective. Yeah. Oh, it may seem like nothing's happening right now. It's about to all go down. I see that. It's about to all go down. But what a ride, man. What a ride to the top of the mountain. And what a view that comes through. What a view that comes through. I'm remembering. I don't remember what download it is, but I will look it up after I finish recording this. I did a read recently, and on the cover, there was a figure standing on top of a mountain. They were holding up what it looks like a flare. And it's reminding me of this magician. And of course, this is like also like counterpart energy. We see this. We see this with the lovers. We see this with the magician. We see this with the high priestess. As long as the two energies are separated, there can be no way through. This balance, this alchemical work can only be achieved within, balancing out the yin, the yang, the active with the receptive here. And so there's something that is being balanced out here. Somebody has been struggling with trying to find that internal balance, but it's not just that. It's also balance with the other. Anything else that wants to come through here? The vision is awakened at the top of the climb, at the top of the mountain. The vision is awakened because only then, through the climb, will one have a clear lay of the land. It feels like it comes in, the revelation of it comes in November 8th when it returns to Taurus. Then Taurus will really know how to use the energy of Uranus to affect a change. There's something that we'll understand from a different vantage point in terms of what we value, what's worthy of our investment. What we're ready to release. And where that stargate, it leads to our sun, our happiness is on the horizon. And there is a stepping through it, see? There's that stargate, here's death, right? And there's the pillars, the initiatory gateway of the moon. Let's see if we can find the moon here. May as well look at the bottom of the deck here. What do we got? See? Right here, this is where we're at right now. This energy is all kind of blocked, right? It's all blocked. It's very internalized. But see, it's about to be externalized. That's what's shifting here. Let me find the moon. See, yeah, this ending hasn't occurred yet with the 10 of swords is what's on the top of the deck. But after it is the 10 of cups. You see, something is transforming here. Here it is. Let's look at this line. This is a very weird way for me to work with the tarot. I normally don't work with the tarot like this at all. But this is what's wanting to come through, and I'm trusting it because this is how the energy is communicating right now. And this is Uranus. You see, this is what was on the top of the deck. Isn't it interesting how these energies really mirror? It's a simple, there behind that 2 of swords, there's that Hierophant. Look at this. There's the Hierophant. And what's behind the Hierophant? 8 of cups, walking away to go up the mountain towards the stargate to affect the change, the transformation that comes. On April 26th. On April 26th, it's like see something shifts, Taurus shifts, the values, our values shift, what we want to invest in shifts. And this is where we start to yield our harvest. This is when we move into that exaltation of the energy. That's what gives the key. That's what gives the key to spring the lock, you see. So the investment is made, something's planted, and the happiness that it provides, the full manifestation it yields, is what comes to pass when Gemini fully takes over for the next 7 years. 7 years of good luck for 7 years of bad. That's how it's coming through, okay? But look at this. Do you see? It's the invitation of the moon to go through the initiation into the moon's mystery, so you can become a truth keeper of the moon. But we have to understand that when we're being initiated into the truths of the moon, in the truths of the mysteries, which is what the high priestess holds, there's illusions there. There's challenges there. But there is a movement away. There's a movement away from the machinations of the mind and into this place of exploration, this sort of dream time kind of energy. But see, even with the initiatory gateway, I'm just noticing this just now. I've never noticed this. I mean, I've always seen that the sun is there behind the moon, right? With the moon card. But I never saw it in relation to this. With that sun on the right, do you see? It's like the promise of the initiation into the cycle of the dawn is promised there with this initiation into the moon. The shield maiden of Mars. It's coming through like that. Shield maiden of Mars. I'm so curious about other things, like a whole bunch of questions I have astrologically are like starting to come through. I relate to astrology in a really weird way too. I don't connect with astrology in a traditional way at all. The information comes in for me like this, you know, kind of random. It seems random, but it ends up being very cohesive. It makes sense to me. It's my way. But it all does sync up. It's very interesting here. Ooh, I like this though. I like this. I like this. Is there anything else that I can see that wants to come through here? That's all I see with this. That's all I see with this. So I think we're really being asked to tune in for this transit. This is the initiation into the mysteries of the moon. This is what we're moving through. We enter into this on the 7th. There's something about the way we are moving forward that causes us to seek self-knowledge, to really discover who we are. And it requires us to be like the wolf, to bay at the moon, to be the pathfinder, to drop into our intuition, to pick up the scent of the trail, and to seek community. It's coming through like that. It's like the mountain is the teacher, the climb is the teacher. And it's a climb into new territory to get a little bit closer to the moon, you know, where we can receive its teaching. And it's also that same kind of imagery that comes through the wanderer in the I Ching. Heading into territory where you don't know what you're going to find. And so there is a need to walk the path with a certain, it's coming through as teachability, not feeling like you have all the answers, because the mystery has something to reveal here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these cards and see what wants to come out, just to cap this off. Any other details that want to come through here in relation to this message? So there's something coming through. I think it's coming through as a bolt of inspiration, or it's something that awakens. And you're going to feel like it's on like Donkey Kong, like something, the force is taking over me. Don't stop till you get enough. Isn't that how that song begins? He's talking about like the power of the music, like the force of the music compels him. He's got to move, you know. Don't stop till you get enough. That song's coming through. Little Michael Jackson coming through there, delivering a little musical message to the collective, right? There's something coming through here that it's just like you've been waiting, or you've been trying to figure something out in your head, but it's like no matter how much you try to think this out or figure it out, like try to strategize around it, you just feel more stuck. You feel more confused, and that's because the AAAAN, the inspiration, when it comes through, it's like that. It's something that just moves you. All that you can't help but move with it. Kind of like "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough." And if you can listen to that song and not move, there's something wrong. You need to tap into a new frequency. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, come on. Take the invitation. There's something here. Again, look, the arms blocked off, closed off, just like the Two of Swords here. Take the invitation to go on the quest for self-knowledge, to drink in the self-knowledge here. There's something that will quench your thirst. What you seek will quench your thirst. When you're seeking self-knowledge, understanding, to truly understand who you are, who you're becoming, it's going to give you liberation. You don't see it coming. You don't see it coming while you're trying to keep a hold of everything. You don't see it coming. But it's coming. Look at this. Yep. It's a tower that comes through this divine act of grace. Look at the way it pours into you. It's going to disarm you. That's what I feel. It's miraculous. This miraculous chalice disarms you. Oh, not in a fixed position anymore. No, you definitely find the way through. The road opens. And again, that Hierophant image, it does have the image of the two keys. That came in on the download the other night. Someone's already gotten free, but I feel like two are going to get their power here. And it opens up the road quite successfully. There's success on the other side of the world. This world's got to turn, but there's success here. Aquarian energy, Taurus energy, Leo energy, Scorpio energy, all these energies have been coming in here, right? Yeah, this is what you don't see, that something miraculous is about to happen here. And it's not at all what you were expecting. It's not at all what you were expecting. It's not something that is you're undoing. It's you're becoming here. It frees you from this state of being so self-contained. You're not meant to be self-contained right now, not at all. You got to find your community here. And that's the opening of the road of the Fool. On the other side of that, any other details? Look at that. Wow. Answering the call of the path, because the truth cannot be ignored that the path calls. This cuts through the veil of illusion. There's victory here. Personal victory. One arrives at the place of self-knowledge. Oh my God. Justice. Libra energy. And I noticed this correlation. Look at there. Look at that energy right there. Then you got the Queen of Pentacles too. Holding the pentacle of manifestation. You hold the whole world in your hands. Problem is, you can't see it, but you will with what's about to come through from a divine messenger. In the middle of your strategizing and all your plotting and planning, that you have been staying in this place of feeling separate from the great work that wants to reveal itself to you, you are going to be liberated from the confines of your mind and find the treasure that's been with you all along. Wow, that feels really complete. Really complete. Let me do a cut of the deck here. It's also, Lady Justice here with King of Swords. So see, it is that masculine, feminine. It's the shadow and light in balance, held in proper balance. It provides the way through. It's also those two swords of truth aligned, being able to come together in such a way that they form Gabo. These are gifts that are coming through, that are being recognized, talents that are awakening, talents, gifts, magics that can only be held and can only be acquired through the cultivation of them by the mountain itself and the climb. Cut the deck. You're sitting and you're waiting for the answer about what to invest in. But see, this is the thing that's so funny is we don't choose the path. The path chooses us. And just like Pisces is represented by that hangman, and Pisces is also the moon, right? That's pretty clear. It's saying invest, invest in this path of initiating into the moon's mysteries. I meant to hold up this card. We can see in the hangman here that the hint of the sun is already present. It's already present behind the moon. You see? This is also the closing of a significant karmic cycle here. Potent energy. Potent energy. So let's just go ahead and, we got true gold here. Gold of the Tuatha De Danann. So let's have a look at this. We got earth sign energy on the board. Taurus, really strong here. But all the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. We got Aquarian energy, Aries energy, Piscean energy, quite strong. All the water signs are represented here, but extra emphasis on Scorpio and on Pisces. Real heavy emphasis on Scorpio. Also a little bit of an exclamation point for Aries too. Okay, and we got real heavy Gemini energy. Got Cancer here too. Strongly represented by the High Priestess, because first and foremost, the High Priestess is a card of Cancer. But it really does have hints, if you look at the symbolism of all the water signs there, much like the moon too. You see hints of Scorpio here. You see hints of Cancer here, even within this card as well. So with the moon, so water signs are pretty strong here. And we got, you know, big Libra energy coming in there at the very end, sort of like closing the gap, right? So this is pretty big, bold energy. I do feel like I want to get some numbers here, just to cap this off, and then we'll wrap it up for tonight. We'll wrap it up for tonight, but I know more will come in. Yeah, let me know what you thought of this. I know this was just sort of like me just dropping in and like shooting the shit with you, but it's how I wanted to come through tonight. And I really felt like going with that flow. It felt good to me. So I hope that it felt good to you too, man. All right, let's check it out. Let's get some numbers of significance. They always communicate to me in different ways. So we'll see what comes on through here. We got the number 6, life path 6, life path 1, life path 2, life path 3, life path 5, life path 4. Okay. January could be a very important time. In fact, the opening to 2026 might really be when we start to see the progression of this energy rolling out to its culmination point, where we're really seeing that stargate that is our sun. We're seeing the vision of our happiness manifest. I see that because it's like January, February, March, and then April 26th is when it finally moves into Gemini for 7 years. Okay. So that's how that's coming through. And it's a whole lucky cycle, light building cycle in our lives. We just got to be careful of getting sort of like caught up, just because we're not like seeing our manifestations take root immediately. It's really understanding that seed potential, it's already activated. We're waiting for the timelines to line up. It's like that portal entry way. There's something that can only be truly harvested from entering into that timeline once this climb is made and you've understood the truth of the moon, the wisdom of the moon, the teachings of the moon, and what needs to come through there through making that climb up the mountain. Okay. There's also a progression here too of energy I see, where it's like the 1 become 2. There's a traveling companion that's found here. The forces unite, and this is what brings about the great working, the great work. When the masculine and the feminine bring their energies together, the great right, one could say. If you know, you know. So that's what I got coming in there, right? First, second, third. This is like 1, 2, 3. There's something here that it's like, you know, one thing leads to another. It's the fix, okay? To do things in this like sequential order rather than trying to jump ahead. The path chooses you. You don't choose the path. You will be compelled by the force just to step on this path and start moving in that direction. As long as you do, you will find a way through. Aries energy coming through. Gemini energy coming through. Virgo energy coming through. Leo energy. Cancerian energy. Cancer, Leo, cusp energy has been pretty much at the forefront of a lot of my downloads for a number of months now. And when I said that, it was 1-10-10 on the clock, okay? And after that, I saw it go to 1-10-13, okay? So something, Cancer, Leo cuspers, you're really, I mean, Cancer, you're hosting the energy of the Jupiter transit. So you're really ending a whole era of your life where you got used to, you know, doing with a lot less than it has been planned for you, than the feast that's been planned for you. That's what I feel. And something's really going to come in and quench your thirst here. It will. Ted affirmed that, okay? So I love that for you. That's good energy. That's what I got, man. That's what I got. The force compels me. Uranus is telling me to get an ARCANE BS card. It's not complete without ARCANE BS when we're talking about Uranus. What's on the bottom of the deck here? Oh, yeah, you see, we've gotten a little too comfortable in this resting place with a filthy mattress, okay? It requires us to be a little too subservient to remain in our current position here. It requires us to bow to authorities that are not the authority of our own here with the knees. There's a need to rise here. Rise and shine if you want to get to that sun, right? This is also about finding community, right? Traveling companions along the way that allow you to bring your talents and your gifts forward. Maybe people that aren't so invested in a bunch of meaningless garbage here, okay? You're going to want something more, and you're going to want to seek it out, and you're not going to be able to hold yourself back from that anymore. It's going to be a thirst that needs to be quenched. You'll be hungry like the wolf. That's why you're going to find the path, because your instincts are going to call you forward. I'm telling you, when the moment comes to act, you won't, it's not something that's generated from the mind. You will move. You will not be able to help but move into action here. Feel it very strongly. It's one of those on like Donkey Kong moments, man. Yep. You're going to understand what is the path that sabotages the fertility of you really being able to exercise your power in such a way that it brings about that quality of multiplicity, multiple options, multiple possibilities that you couldn't ever see before, multiple paths that you feel compelled to explore. Like what seemed like just one road turns into a road of many, like many rivers that are never the same. When you step in them twice, lead to the one source. This is like this kind of energy awakening here. You suss out the influence that is preventing this potency from being used in a way that can really seed your future. And that's when you get that power in your hands. You understand what needs to be cut off, and what's on the other side there is, look at that gravy funnel bringing on the dawn. Look at the 8 energy turned on its side. Now they're becoming like shades. They're like spectacles. What a spectacle. The future's so bright. You're going to need to wear shades. And it is protected. It's protected for 2 here who are seeing through certain clouds of illusion. I like this. This is good energy, man. This is good energy. This is good. I love this deck. This is my favorite deck, man. Sometimes I feel like I would love to, you know, just read from this deck, and that's it. I like how it gives me a different jump off point every time. Sometimes tarot for me can feel like a box because it has such like set definitions, and people get weird about tarot. You know, no, it means this. No, it means whatever it's inspiring me at the time. That is the secret of the tarot. I mean, there can be certain associations, but it's also about what you're picking up from the imagery and how it's communicating to you at that time. So don't let anybody tell you that you don't do tarot the right way. You know, forget all the tarot snobs. You know, whatever comes through for you is the message you're meant to receive. Or if you're somebody who is here as a messenger, it's the message you're meant to deliver, right? So always trust. Always trust your own intuition. Always trust your own take. Okay? Always trust how the cards speak to you if you work with the cards, or if you're curious about picking up the cards. Some of you might want to get a deck. If you don't have one, that might be coming through as a way to start your exploration of who you are. They really can show you a lot about yourself as you work with them. They can show you the kind of perspectives you hold and sort of where you're at. It's like the key of the devil in the tarot, you know, with that torch lighting up below and holding up that goat poof mudra. All you see is all there is. It's like what you see in the card shows you a lot about who you are and where you're at. You know, who is anybody to tell you that that's wrong? This is an unusual download, man. But I like it. Oh yeah, it's different, man. We're you know, like hitchhikers on a ride through the galaxy, and we're going to places we haven't been before. But maybe you can, you know, teach a dog new tricks there, right? There is a way to get a different view, and you'll be grateful for the journey, man. You'll be grateful for a different way through. I feel like this is some path that's coming in here is quite different than what you expect, but man, it's going to fill your cup. It's going to fill your cup. I see it. It's like where the coffers have been running dry, they're about to have more than enough to form a waterway through you. This path is something that just keeps pouring into you. It's such beautiful energy. Oh, yeah, man, I dig it. That's the best thing that can come through. We're overthrowing the Frodis, man. We're taking the earth back. Wow, that's so beautiful. Yes. And every... Oh, it's so perfect. Oh my gosh, it's so perfect because of the card that was there, and everything's fine. Everything's fine. It's fine. It's fine that it's a mess. It's so good that it's coming undone. I mean, can we move out of the fear? Can we move out of the fear, and can we instead understand that, yeah, it's okay that we burn this bridge, because the bridge that's opening is something that no one man possesses here. No one man can guard and act like the troll who's exacting some toll for you to cross. All you need to do is break on through the other side of your mind, and the doors of perception flame open to infinite possibility. See you on the other side, man.